Hello guys, welcome back my YouTube channel. Let's learn English with Kusi. Today I am going to talk about this book or maybe reading. As you can see, the book name is Teachings of Queen Kunti, written by Bhaktivedanta, and this book is not that much bulky. It's very small book and bearable story too, and there are just only 26 chapters. And if I talk about the pages, then we have just only 203 pages, main pages. And so first chapter is it all about introductions. So here we go. The tragic and heroic figure of Queen Kunti emerges from an explosive era in the history of ancient India, as related in the Mahabharata, Indians' grand epic poem of 1000 couplets. Kunti was the wife of King Pandu and the mother of 5 illustrious sons known as the Pandavas. As such, she was one of the central figures in a complex political drama that culminated 50 centuries ago in the Kurukshetra War, a devastating war of ascendancy that changed the course of world events. The Mahabharata describes the prelude to the Holocaust as follows. Pandu became king because his elder brother Dhritarashtra had been born blind, a condition that excluded him from direct succession. Some time after Pandu ascended to the throne, Dhritarashtra married Gandhari and fathered one husband's sons. This was the ruling family of the Kaurava dynasty, of whom the eldest was the ambitious and cruel Duryodhana. Meanwhile, Pandu had taken two wives, Madhuri and Kunti, originally named Parth. Kunti was the daughter of Suryasen, the chef of glorious Yadu dynasty. The Mahabharata relates that Kunti was gifted with beauty and character. She rejoined in the law dharma and was great in her vows. She also possessed an unusual benediction. When she was a child, her father Suryasen had given her in adoptions to his childless cousin and close friend Kunti Bhoj, hence the name Kunti. In her stepfather's house, Kunti's duty was to look after the welfare of guests. One day, the powerful sage and mystic Durvasha came there and was pleased by Kunti and selfless service, foreseeing that she would have difficulty conceiving sons. Durvasa gave her the benedictions that she could invoke any demigod and by him obtain progeny. After Kunti married Pandu, he was placed under a curse that prevented him from begetting children, so he renounced the throne and retired with his wives to the forest. There, Kunti's special benedictions enabled her to conceive at her husband's request 3 glorious sons. First, she invoked Dharma, the demigod of religious. After worshipping him and repeating an invocation, Durvasa had taught her. She united with Dharma and in time gave birth to a boy. As soon as the child was born, a voice with no visible source said, "This child will be called Yudhishthira, and he will be very virtuous. He will be a splendid, determined, renounced, and famous throughout the 3 worlds." Having been blessed with this virtuous son, Pandu then asked Kunti for a son of great physical strength. Thus Kunti invoked Vayu, the demigod of wind, who begotten the mighty Bhim. Upon Bhim's birth, the supernatural voice said, "This child will be the foremost of all strong men." Thereafter, Pandu consulted with great sages in the forest and then asked Kunti to observe vow of austerities for 1 full year. At the end of this period, Pandu said to Kunti, "O beautiful one, the King of Heaven is pleased with you, so invoke him and conceive a son." Kunti then invoked Indra, who came to her and begotten Arjuna. As soon as the prince was born, the same celestial voice boomed through the sky, "O Kunti, this child will be as strong as Kartavirya and Sivi, two powerful kings of Vedic times, and as invincible in battle as Indra himself. He will spread your fame everywhere and acquire many divine weapons." Subsequently, Pandu junior wife Madhuri bore two sons named Nakul and Sahadev. These 5 sons of Kapandu, Yudhishthira, Bhim, Arjun, Nakul, and Sahadev, then came to be known as the Pandavas. Now, since Pandu had retired from the throne and gone to the forest, Dhritarashtra had temporarily assumed the throne under Pandu's eldest son. Yudhishthira came of age, however, long before the time Pandu died as a result of the curse, and Madhuri gave up her life as well. By attending his funeral prayer that left the 5 Pandavas in the care of Queen Kunti. After Pandu's death, the sages living in the forest brought the 5 young princes and Kunti to the Kaurava fort at Hastinapur, near present-day Delhi. In Hastinapur, the capital city of the kingdom, the 5 boys were raised in royal style under the guidance of Dhritarashtra and the noble Vidur, Pandu's half-brother, but a smooth transfer of power was not to be. Although Dhritarashtra had at first recognized the primogeniture gestures of Yudhishthira, he later allowed himself to be used by his eldest son, the power-hungry Duryodhana, who wished to ascend the throne in place of Yudhishthira. Driven by uncontrollable jealousy, Duryodhana plotted against the Pandavas, and with the hesitate's approval of the weak Dhritarashtra, he inflicted many sufferings upon them. He made several attempts on their lives in Hastinapur, and then he brought them to a provincial places and tried to assassinate them by having it set on fire. All the while, the 5 youthful Pandavas were accompanied by their courageous mother Kunti, who suffered Duryodhana's atrocities in the company of her beloved sons. Miraculously, however, Kunti and the Pandavas repeatedly escaped death, for they were under the loving protections of Lord Krishna, who had incarnated to perform his earthly pastimes. Ultimately, Duryodhana, a clever political, cheated the Pandavas out of their kingdom and their freedom in a gambling match. As a result of the match, the Pandavas' wife Draupadi was abused by the Kauravas, and the Pandavas themselves were forced to spend 30 years in exile in the forest, to the great sorrow of Kunti. When the 30-year exile had ended, the Pandavas returned to Hastinapur to reclaim their kingdom, but Duryodhana bluntly refused to relinquish it. Then, after some unsuccessful attempt to quell the hostilities, Yudhishthira sent Krishna himself to secure the return of the Pandava kingdom by peaceful means. But even this effort failed because of Duryodhana's obstinacy, and both sides prepared for battle. to place Yudhishthira on the throne or to oppose him. Great warriors from all corners of the earth assembled, setting the scene for what would prove to be a devastating world war. Fearlessly fighting raged for 18 days on the historic plain of Kurukshetra near Hastinapur, and in the end, all but a handful of the many millions of warriors were dead. Only Lord Krishna, the Pandavas, and a few others survived the, mass- the massacre. The Kuru Duryodhana and his brothers were devastated in a desperate gesture of revenge. Ashwadhama, one of the surviving Kauravas, maliciously murdered the five sons of Draupadi while they were sleeping. Queen Kunti thus suffered a final blow, the loss of her grandchildren, arrested and dragged to the Pandavas' camp like a bound animal. Astvandava was let free only by the astounding compassion of Draupadi, the slaughtered boy's mother and Kunti's daughter-in-law, who pleaded for his life, but the shameless Asvadhamma made one more attempt to kill the last heir of the Pandavas, their unborn grandson, in the home of Uttara by hurling the supreme Brahmastra weapon. When she was the missile flying string at her, Uttara immediately ran to the center of Lord Krishna, who was just about to depart of Dwarka, his majesty capital city. Krishna protected the Pandavas and their mother Kunti from immediate death by stopping the weapon's uncontrollable heat and radiations. With his onyx Sudarshan's dice, having delivered the Pandavas from this last calamity and seeing that all his plans were fulfilled, Lord Krishna was again preparing to queen for years. Duryodhana had tormented Kunti's family, but Krishna had protected them at every turn, and now he was going away. Kunti was overwhelmed, and she prayed to Krishna from the core of her heart. Krishna was Lord Krishna. Kunti was Lord Krishna's aunt. He had incarnated as the son of her brother Vasudeva. Yet, despite this conventional tie with the Lord, she fully understood his exalted and divine identity.